This is the video for the linear equations study guide. So we're going to start with number 1. The first thing that I like to do when I solve these problems is draw the line down the middle so that I can very clearly see the left side and the right side. So now that we've got that good to go, we can go ahead and get started with step 1, which is to distribute so that we can remove the parentheses. So when we distribute, we are going to take this 7 and we're going to multiply it through. So 7 times 2 gives me 14. And then 7 times 5x gives me a positive 35x. And then on the right, I just go ahead and copy 3x plus 14 because we didn't do anything with that. Step 2 would be to combine like terms, but I can see on the left side there's nothing to combine, and on the right side there's nothing to combine. So we can move on to step 3, which is to take our x term and move it to the left. So I'm going to take this 3x and subtract it from both sides. It cancels on the right, which leaves me with just a 14. And then on the left, I have 14 plus 32x. I now need to take all of the numbers that are on the same side as x and move them to the other side. So I'm going to start with this 14, and I'm going to subtract it from both sides. Cancels on the left. So I have a 32x is equal to 14 minus 14 is 0. I then divide both sides by 32. They cancel on the left, and I'm left with x equals 0 divided by anything is 0. So I have x equals 0, and this is one solution. All right, let's move on to number 2. For number 2, we're going to start by drawing our line down, and then we're going to distribute. So I'm going to take this negative 7 through. On the left, this 36 minus 7x doesn't change, so we just copy it down. On the right, I have a negative 7x plus 35. A negative times a negative does give me a positive. Next, I'm going to take this negative 7x and I'm going to add it to both sides to make it move. So it cancels on the right, and it actually cancels on the left as well. So I'm left over with 36 equals 35. Because these are different numbers and that statement is not true, that means that this question has no solutions. Okay, for number 3, draw our line, and then we're going to go ahead and distribute. So this time we have a negative 5. Negative times a negative is a positive. So negative 5 times negative 2 gives me a positive 10. And then again, a negative times a negative gives me a positive 40x. And that is equal to 10 plus 5x. So next I'm going to move my x over, so I'm going to subtract 5x from both sides. They cancel on the right, which just leaves a 10. And on the left, I'm left with 10 plus 35x. Then I'm going to subtract my 10 from both sides. They cancel on the left. 35x is left over, and that is equal to 10 minus 10, which is 0. I'm going to divide both sides by 35. 35's cancel on the left, and again, 0 divided by anything is just going to be 0. So my final answer is x equals 0, which is one solution. Okay, moving on to number 4. We've got our line drawn down the middle, and then we're going to go ahead and distribute this negative 2. So this is going to leave me with a negative 2x plus 4 equals negative 3 minus 2x. I need to move this negative 2x on the right, so I'm going to add it to both sides. This cancels. This actually also cancels, and I'm left with 4 equals negative 3, which is not true, so this is no solutions. Except for number 5. going to go ahead and distribute the 7. I'm going to copy the 30 plus 6x. This is going to be equal to 7x plus 42 minus 5. So now I have a new step that I haven't done before, which is going to be to combine like terms. I have this 42 minus 5 on the right that can be combined. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to copy my 30 plus 6x equals 7x, and then 42 minus 5 is 35. I'm sorry, 37. 37. Now I need to move my x over, so I'm going to subtract 7x from both sides. And I get 30 minus 1x equals 37. You could write this as just minus x, but because the x term is negative, I'm going to leave it with the 1 there, just to make it a little bit easier for us later. Next, I'm going to subtract 30. These cancel. I have negative 1x is equal to 7. Now, because I have x is negative and it's got the negative 1 there, I can see what number I need to divide by, which is negative 1. And 7 divided by negative 1 is negative 7, which means that this has one solution. Next up for number 6, draw my line and distribute my negative 3. So I have 8x plus 38 equals a positive 18 plus 12x. I'll subtract my 12x from both sides. They cancel here. This leaves me with 18. On the left, I have negative 4x plus 38. Now I can subtract the 38 from both sides. They cancel on the left, and negative 4x is equal to negative 20. Now when I divide here, I need to divide by the negative and the 4 at the same time, so that the negatives cancel and the 4's cancel. X is going to be equal to positive 5. So this is one solution. Okay, let's move on to number 7. I'm going to distribute my negative 4. So I get negative 4x minus 12 equals negative 12 minus 4x. Here I'm going to add my 4x to both sides. I can see on the left that negative 4x plus 4x, this cancels, leaving me with negative 12. And on the right, these also cancel, leaving me with negative 12. These numbers are the same. That's good. So this has infinite solutions. Number 8. Distribute the negative 3. I have negative 3x minus 12 equals negative 32 plus 4x. I'll subtract my 4x from both sides. This will cancel, leaving me with a negative 32. And on the left, negative 7x minus 12. I'll add 12 to both sides. This leaves me with a negative 7x equals negative 20. Divide by negative 7. Now for this, x is equal to 20 over 7. So this one did not work out to be a whole number answer. And you can convert that to a decimal by putting it in your calculator, and it would be approximately 2.86. But if I were you, I would honestly just leave it as a fraction, 20 over 7, and this has one solution. Number 9. We're going to keep 3 plus 5x the same. We'll distribute the 5, so 5x plus 10 minus 7. I can see that I need to combine like terms here. So we have 3 plus 5x equals 5x plus 3. And then when I subtract 5x from both sides, all the x's cancel out, and I'm left with 3 equals 3. Same number on both sides tells me this is infinite solutions. Okay, number 10. I'll distribute my 4. Also, this should be an x here. Sorry about that, guys. So when I distribute my 4, 4x minus 32 equals negative 32 plus 4x. Subtract my 4x from both sides. They all cancel. Negative 32 equals negative 32. And we have another infinite solutions. Flip this over. We're up to number 11. I have negative 14 minus 8x staying the same, and then this becomes positive 6x minus 14. I will subtract 6x from both sides. This leaves me with negative 14 minus 14x equals negative 14. Now we don't want to move the negative 14 touching x yet. We want to move this first one, so I'm going to add that to both sides. They cancel. I'm left with negative 14x equals 0. And when I divide by negative 14, I get x equals 0. And this, because I have x equals a number, this is one solution. Okay, for this next one, I see that I have parentheses, so I have to distribute, but there's no number in front of my parentheses, there's only a negative. So we do remember this is a negative 1, so when I distribute, I will be distributing a negative 1. So this becomes negative 3 plus 6x equals 6x plus 5. Subtract 6x from both sides. I can see that they cancel on the left and on the right. So I'm left with negative 3 equals 5. These are not the same, so this has no solutions. Number 13. I'm going to distribute first, so I'm going to take this 2 and distribute it through. So I get 2x minus 6 equals 2x plus 10 minus 16. Now I can combine like terms. So I'm going to take this 10 minus 16 here and combine those. And I have 2x minus 6 equals 2x, and 10 minus 16 is negative 6. So now I can see that 2x minus 6 on the left and 2x minus 6 on the right are identical. So I already know that this problem has infinite solutions because the expression on either side is exactly the same. Now, if I had continued by subtracting 2x from both sides, they would have canceled here. You would have been left with the phrase, with the sentence, negative 6 equals negative 6. Those are the same, so it's still infinite solutions. But you could get to this point right here, notice that the expressions are identical on both sides, and already know that it's infinite. All right, number 14. For this one, I have to distribute, but the thing that I am distributing is this plus 3. The 2x is not going to be part of that, so I'm just going to bring him down because that's not going to be distributed through. Just the positive 3. So this will give me plus 3x minus 24 equals x minus 4. And now I have to combine like terms of my x terms. So this gives me 5x minus 24 equals x minus 4. Then I need to subtract x from both sides. Cancels on the right, leaving just a negative 4, and make sure you're bringing that negative down with you. And then here, there is an invisible coefficient in front of x of 1, so this is 5x minus 1x, which is 4x minus 24 equals negative 4. Now I can add 24 to both sides. Those cancel, and I have 4x equals 20. Just going to bring that up here so we can finish. 4x equals 20, divide both sides by 4, and x equals 5. And because we have x equals, that means this problem has one solution. Okay, 15. We're going to distribute the 7 through. So we have 14 plus 35x equals 3x plus 14. Subtract the 3x from both sides. Cancels, and we have a 14 left over on the right. On the left, we have 14 plus 32x. We subtract 14 from both sides. Cancels on the left. We have 32x equals 0. And as we have learned, when we divide 0 by any number, we're left with x equals 0, which is one solution, which we should have remembered from problem number 1. For 16, I have distributions on both sides, and on the right it's that negative again, so I'm just going to pencil in a little negative 1 there so I know what I'm distributing, and I'm going to distribute each side at a time. So starting with the left, we're going to distribute the 4. This gives me a negative 12x minus 4 equals negative 1x minus 15. You do not have to put the 1 here. You can just write that as negative x, but I'm going to leave the 1 because it's the next thing that I have to move. And by writing plus 1x on both sides, I can clearly see that these cancel, and I can more easily see what's happening over here. Negative 12 plus 1 will give me negative 11 with my x minus 4 equals negative 15. Add 4 to both sides. The 4's cancel on the left, and negative 11x is equal to negative 11. So when I then divide by negative 11, we know these cancel, and x is equal to a negative divided by a negative is a positive, and 11 divided by 11 is 1. So this has one solution. Okay. For number 17, there's a little bit going on, so we're just going to take it one step at a time. Hopefully I'll have space. I'm going to start by distributing the 5 on the left. So I have negative 5x minus 15, then copy the minus 7 equals, distribute on the right, negative 5x minus 25, copy the plus 3. Now I need to check to combine like terms, so I'm going to start by combining these terms here on the left, negative 15 minus 7. So negative 15 minus 7, we copy our negative 5x, and then negative 15 minus 7 is going to give me negative 22. This is going to be equal to, combine my like terms on the right, negative 25 plus 3 copy negative 5x, and this gives me negative 22. So again, I'm at a position where I can see that this side and this side are identical. So this has infinite solutions. But to finish the problem, if you could not see that, you would add 5x to both sides. You would cancel on the left, cancel on the right, and you're left with negative 22 equals negative 22, same number on both sides. 18. Start off by distributing. 6 times negative 5x is negative 30x, and then plus 18, copy the plus 1, equals, distribute on the other side, negative 5x plus 30 minus 36. Now I can combine like terms. So on the left, I have this 18 plus 1, which gives me negative 30x plus 19 equals, on the right, combine these like terms, we have a negative 5x minus 6. I'll add 5x first to both sides. They cancel on the left, leaving negative 6. That was on the right. On the left, we have negative 25x plus 19. I can now subtract 19 from both sides. Cancels on the left. Negative 25x is equal to negative 25. Divide both sides by negative 25, and I'm left with x equal to 1. So this has one solution. Wonderful. Okay, the last two are a little bit trickier, but don't let the fractions bother you. It's not that bad. We have parentheses, so for 19, we have to distribute. Now, when you multiply a fraction times a whole number, for this, we will be multiplying 1/5 times 20. We want to take 20 and rewrite it as a fraction as well, so we put it over 1. And then to multiply two fractions, you multiply the top number times the top number and the bottom number times the bottom. So this would give me 20 over 5. 1 times 20 is 20, 5 times 1 is 5, and we know that 20 over 5 is the same as 20 divided by 5, which just gives me 4. So this is just a 4x minus, when I multiply 1/5 times 15, I'm going to get 15 over 5, and 15 divided by 5 is 3. So that's equal to negative 3 plus 2x. Then I'll subtract my 2x from both sides. Cancels on the right, leaving negative 3. On the left, I have 2x minus 3. I add 3 to both sides. 2x is equal to 0. Divide by 2. X equals 0. Which means this has one solution. Okay, for this last problem, we have fractions on both sides of the equation. We need to get rid of these fractions, and the easiest way to get rid of a fraction is to multiply. So we are going to cross multiply. First, we're going to multiply 8 times the x minus 2 on the other side. So you're multiplying the denominator times the other numerator. And we're going to set this up as a distribution expression. 8 on the outside, the number on the outside, and then the expression on the inside. We're going to write down our equal sign, and then we are going to multiply our other cross. So this time it is 4 on the outside, and then 2x minus 2 on the inside of the parentheses. And now all I have to do is distribute and move stuff around. So here I have 8x minus 16 is equal to 8x minus 8. I subtract my 8x from both sides. They cancel on the right, they cancel on the left, and I have negative 16 equals negative 8, which is not true. Therefore, this question has no solutions.